Let's hop into some Broncos news and rumors. Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. here, getting you guys caught up everything with Denver as of now. Phillip Lindsay, he has been released. Melvin Gordon's DUI charges have been dropped, and so Denver decided to rescind the tender for Lindsay, and now he hits free agency, Chase.
This is really interesting because I thought Phillip Lindsay was going to come back in Denver. He was a restricted free agent, so he's free to sign with any team right now, and he's going to come on the cheap. Running backs at this point in the NFL in 2021 are somewhat expendable. Me personally, I wouldn't pay running backs more than like $12 million. Yeah. I thought that Aaron Jones contract with Green Bay was perfect because he's a really versatile weapon. Phillip Lindsay isn't that type of player, but he is somewhat versatile because he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and obviously he's a pretty good rusher who can run in between the tackles but also get out to the perimeter as well, Harrison.
And this is one of those strange ones. I mean, $2.1 million for what Phillip Lindsay would have provided.
Yeah, that's
now
why
maybe this is one of those mutual decisions where it's like, hey, like Gordon's going to be our lead back. We paid him like that. Do you want us to let you go and test free agency? And maybe they circle back to Lindsay later if the market isn't great, but it certainly seems like he's going to be heading elsewhere as they rescind that tag there. And here's the Broncos statement here. After several positive talks with Phillip Lindsay and his representatives, we have mutually decided to part ways. From a college free agent to the first undrafted offensive rookie to make the Pro Bowl, you made an incredible impact in the orange and blue. So you kind of see writing on the wall there. Seems like this was a mutual decision. Phillip Lindsay tweeted this out: as a Colorado kid, I was able to fulfill my dream of playing for my hometown team. I want to thank my teammates, coaches, staff, and everyone involved in the Broncos organization who made this possible for me. He also shouted out the fans, saying, for all of your love, loyalty, support during my time, thank you, Broncos country. You will always hold a special place in my heart. And this is one of those disappointing ones for me too, Chase, just from a, if you like good stories, local kid, under-recruited, came out of nowhere from the University of Colorado as an undersized 5'7", 5'8" guy. Broncos take a stab at him. He makes the team, rushes for 1,000 yards plus in his rookie year, and you're like, man, maybe he's just the perfect local story that's here for 10-plus years. Doesn't look like it's going to play out that way, though.
No, 2 years ago, he was one of the best stories in the entire NFL.
Fourth in rushing or something like that.
Yeah, he was one of the best rushers in the league. And so far in his career, 42 games, he's been a really productive player. Yeah. So it's weird that the Broncos didn't want to re-sign him at that number of just north of $2 million. But, hey, 534 carries, 2,550 yards. You look at the yards per pop there, a little less than 5 yards. Yep. This is a productive player who's going to be able to come on the cheap. And as we know, teams have become smarter and smarter when it comes to paying running backs in 2021. They don't want to go overboard because they understand that the shelf life is pretty short. But Phillip Lindsay, given the way that he plays, he's not that bruising running back. He can be a pass catcher. He's got some versatility to his game, so I think that he could age somewhat well. And this is going to be, in my opinion, a sneaky signing that I think is going to give a team really good value.
So what do you guys think? One-word reaction to Phillip Lindsay leaving the Broncos. For me, disappointing. I would have liked this to go. You know what else this reeks of? And you guys get your one words in. This reeks of crap. We overpaid Melvin Gordon and we're stuck with him. Mm-hmm. We got to use him as our lead back, which I think that's a bad way to run things, but that's how it feels to me. What's your one word on this one?
Surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, just surprised because you can say, okay, they brought in Melvin Gordon last year. The writing was on the wall, but teams like to go with multiple running backs on their roster.
Gordon's good, but he's not a 25 a carry type of guy. The production's just not there. So get your one word in and let us know. Subscribe to Chat Sports, NFL news, rumors, more videos all off-season long. We're going live a lot this off-season, especially during free agency. Of course, during the draft, we've had the most watched NFL draft coverage 3 years going. We plan to be that again this year in year number 4, so hit that big red button. Also, if you're watching this on our Broncos Only channel, subscribe there as well. Just hit that subscribe button. Producer Sam's crushing it on our Broncos Only channel. Just crossed 2,000 subs recently. We appreciate you guys. Subscribe to our main channel, Broncos channel. We'll continue to plug out videos for you guys. You look at the depth chart here, so no Phillip Lindsay. You got Melvin Gordon. It seems like Royce Freeman just continues to hang around. I really liked him coming out of Oregon, but he's just been okay throughout his NFL career. Gordon's on the second year of that $16 million contract. I think moving forward, you would anticipate him to, get some of those carries Lindsay lost, and maybe Royce Freeman becomes that true number 2 back this year, Chase.
Yeah, you're looking at Melvin Gordon as a guy who can offer some versatility, and he's a pretty dynamic player. He actually kind of screwed himself over a couple years ago when he decided to hold out because he was due for a big payday and kind of cost himself in that regard. But with the Broncos running back depth chart, Royce Freeman more of that physical back, Melvin Gordon, that guy who can kind of do it all, but also a name to bring to the table. It's Mike Boone, who was non-tendered, and he's going to come in here in Denver too.
Yeah, so Minnesota lets him go. 2-year deal up to $4.5 million. So I think him and Royce Freeman, that's your competition for RB2 behind Melvin Gordon now that Phillip Lindsay has walked. Obviously, this is even more puzzling to me. You basically gave him Phillip Lindsay money on a 2-year deal. Yeah. It sounds like to me Lindsay wanted more money, and so they were just like, hey, let's just part ways. Appreciate what you did. Shout out to the Broncos fans, and I'm just going to move on here. That's what this sounds like to me. Spent the last 3 seasons with the Vikings, so it gives him a little bit of depth. Won't replace Lindsay, but Boone can provide some insurance for Gordon as well.
And it's a guy who a lot of people don't know of because he was behind Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison,
who was really good last year.
Who's really underrated. This is what Mike Boone has kind of brought to the table in 40 games throughout his career so far.
Yards per carry?
5.3 yards per carry. So Denver sees that, and they're like, okay, we see a buy low option potentially, but I don't think this is anything that Broncos fans are looking at saying, Mike Boone, franchise running back, let's ride, let's go. I don't think it's like that.
I'll just tell you that right now. But we'll see. Depth piece here, certainly not going to replace Phillip Lindsay. Grade the deal, A, B, C, D, or F. I can't give it more than like a C- because he's like an RB3, and you gave him the money that Phillip Lindsay would have had on the tender. So I don't really get it. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and get your votes in on this one. Grade the Mike Boone deal. Now, follow producer Sam on Twitter and host of the Broncos Breakdown. Obviously, you see some of us on the Broncos channel as well because Sam's crushing it behind the scenes. He's got a lot going on here at Chat Sports. He's at Sam Brown CS. Continue to lift his Twitter, what do you call it? What's the word? His
Twitter
status,
handle.
His Twitter status.
Yes.
Let's raise his
Twitter
level.
game.
He's almost at 1,000 followers. Come on, let's get him there. At Sam Brown CS. Sam's going to continue to take your questions as well here on the Broncos Breakdown. So you can tweet him your questions over there. Pick his brain about the Broncos, about the NFL. His DMs, trust me, they are always open. At Sam Brown CS. Go ahead and give him a follow. And, of course, subscribe to the Broncos Breakdown.